So whether it's yen, rupees, pesos, or pounds, dealing with other currencies can be a pain. So here's 10 money tips for traveling. Number 10, and I know it's not fun to do math in your head, but as best you can, know your exchange rates. And this is really important so you know if you're getting a fair deal or if you're getting ripped off or scammed. So, what's good to know are your currency codes like USD for US dollar, CAD for Canadian dollar, EUR for euro, MXN for Mexican peso. And what's good to know is searching um, which direction. So, if the currency is worth less than yours, search your currency compared to it. So let's say CAD, Canadian dollar to Mexican peso, MXN. So just type CAD to MXN, boom, you get your number. Or let's say US dollar to Japanese yen, USD to JPY. Now, for currencies that are valued higher than yours, say British pound or the euro, you could say you want to invert that search. So you want to search the higher value currency compared to yours. So let's say euro to US dollar, EUR to USD, or British pound to Canadian dollar, GBP to CAD. And that's will give you a more practical number to work with. Number 9, when traveling to Europe, remember not every country in Europe uses the euro. Famously, Switzerland, never going to use the euro. Switzerland and Liechtenstein both use the Swiss franc. Great Britain, United Kingdom, it's a British pound sterling over there. Your Nordic countries, Sweden, Norway, and Denmark, they use their own version of the kroner. And then Poland, Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Hungary, Romania, nope, they all have their own unique currencies. So plan accordingly if you're visiting any of those countries. Number 8, if a business is advertising in your home currency and not the local currency, probably a red flag. Now, this mostly comes into play in like really touristy zones, so cruise ship areas, hotel zones, mostly kind of resort town areas. While it's kind of convenient that they'll advertise, let's say in US dollar, say in Mexico, you want to know your exchange rate, and so is that price a little bit inflated? That said, with the peso being kind of strong lately, sometimes it's actually not a bad deal if you can get the old price in US dollars. So I've seen some supermarkets in Mexico actually advertise a price that's either on par or slightly a better exchange rate than what's actually going on that day. So not always a red flag, but in general, if it's a gift shop or a restaurant and it's in US dollars instead of Mexican pesos or wherever, check to see if they have a menu in the local currency and see if, knowing your exchange rate, see if it's better. Number 7, avoid carrying a lot of cash. Now, whether you're bringing some of your currency over to exchange in another country, or maybe you bought some foreign currency before your trip, either way, I would say avoid carrying a lot of it, or at a minimum, don't carry it all in one place. Hide it in amongst several bags and keep track of it. But just remember, if that cash is lost or stolen, there's no replacing it. Like you would get with a credit card, you can stop payments, you can contact a bank, you have a little bit of recourse on some fraudulent charges, whereas cash, once it's gone, it's gone. Now, that said, it's not a bad idea to have some local currency in your pocket when you arrive, in case it's a more cash-based area. Maybe the taxis only take cash is a nice convenience to have. But ideally, probably better off using an ATM if at all possible. And I have some tips related to that later. Number 6, if you're going to order foreign currency before your trip, shop different banks, understand how much you're going to charge or what their exchange rate is, and if there's any other fees associated with that. Also, be sure to budget enough time to do this. Remember, these branches do not hold any foreign currency on site. They have to order it. And when they order it, some might send it to you directly, but usually they send it to that branch and you have to pick it up in person. So budget at a minimum 1 week, probably 2 so you have enough time to pick it up before your trip. Number 5, don't use sketchy ATMs. And by this, I mean ATMs that are located right across from that club or bar, located in the back of a tourist shop. It's in some public area where there are a lot of tourists, or it advertises US dollars. Those are red flags. These ATMs probably have really high fees. They may try to trick you into some sort of conversion, or they may have a credit card skimmer attached to them. So I've known people to have their credit card compromised pretty soon after using certain ATMs. What you want to look for is an ATM that's clearly associated with a recognizable bank, or it's an ATM that's actually in a physical bank branch. Those are going to be more secure and safe. Now, when it comes to ATM fees or the fees that that bank charges, it can vary greatly. For instance, in Mexico, some banks only charge about $1.50, others charge up to $7. However, in some countries, certain ATMs will charge no fee whatsoever. If you're going to be visiting Italy, the ones associated with the post office, the Poste Italiane, no fee whatsoever. So you're getting euros at a good exchange rate and no extra fee. Number 4, always decline a conversion or a guaranteed rate. This is going to happen at certain ATMs or at certain payment terminals, maybe at a restaurant or hotel or any kind of business. What happens is if it's at an ATM, you're requesting, let's say, 100 euros. The ATM will then ask you, hey, do you want to guarantee the rate? It will be this rate, and it's always terrible. And you'll say, no thanks, no conversion. And then it asks you again, and it starts making you hesitate or question if you did something wrong. It kind of looks like an error. It's trying to pressure you into accepting that guaranteed exchange rate, which again is going to be terrible. Your credit card, your debit card, your bank is always going to give you the best exchange rate for that day. The only difference will be how much of a fee does that specific bank ATM going to charge you. So always decline a conversion. Number 3, use a credit card that doesn't charge foreign transaction fees. Now these fees range anywhere from 1 to 3% typically, and it's on top of your purchase. And just by using a different credit card, you can totally eliminate that fee altogether. Now, a lot of the cards that skip the foreign transaction fee often have an annual fee. However, there are options out there that have no fee whatsoever. So shop around and see what makes sense for you. Now, some major categories of cards that typically waive foreign transaction fees will be your travel rewards cards, stuff like the Chase Sapphire. These cards often allow you to earn points on all your purchases that maybe you redeem for travel or cashback, what have you. Also, what's nice is these cards have extra benefits. So it could be secondary car rental insurance, it could be a lost baggage or travel delay reimbursement, some kind of purchase protection on things you buy. So I've had a cell phone purchase reimbursed because it had an extended warranty and still within that period. And sure enough, yeah, they reimbursed me for that phone. So it does come in handy, even if it has an annual fee. Another category are airline credit cards. So almost every major airline offers a credit card. And what's nice about the airlines is, again, they also may have that travel insurance or lost baggage reimbursement fee. But specific to the airline, you may get a better boarding group, or you may get a free checked bag. So that could really be a huge benefit. Even if there's a fee for the card, it could pay for itself in just 2 trips or less. Now, another category are the hotel credit cards. Even if you mostly use Airbnbs or don't use hotels frequently, still nice to have because many of them offer a free night certificate every year. And these have been wonderful because they can be used at not just kind of your mid-grade hotels, but even your more high-end ones abroad. And so this has been really nice on maybe that last night of your trip. before you need to head out to the airport. Those hotels may be more convenient to the airport, or maybe you just had a long haul flight across the Atlantic or across the Pacific to Asia, and you're exhausted and you don't want to deal with a check-in process at Airbnb. Checking into a nice hotel can be a really huge benefit. Now, the free night certificates may or may not be available for all hotels at all locations. You just kind of see what's available for your trip. So worth checking into. Number two, carry a backup credit card. Unfortunately, I can speak from experience. I had a trip where within the first day or two, I had a credit card become compromised, and it was the only one I had. And once it's compromised, they usually will only send a credit card to your home address. I couldn't get it sent to me where I was traveling, so I was in a real pickle. So I had to use my debit card or whatever cash I had as a backup for the rest of my travel. So what I often do is I'll keep one or two credit cards in my wallet when I'm going around, but I'll keep a second or third credit card in my hotel or Airbnb hidden away in my luggage. That way, if a wallet or a bag is stolen, no big deal. I still have another credit card I can rely on for other purchases. Also, make sure that credit card doesn't have foreign transaction fees. Now, my number one tip for money when traveling is to get yourself a debit card that rebates all ATM fees worldwide. There's not a lot of options out there, and this doesn't have to be your primary checking account. This could be a second or tertiary checking account you have, and maybe you only put just enough money in there for travel. Doesn't have to be a lot, but maybe a few hundred, maybe $1,000, whatever you need for your travels. Pop it into that account, and then when you go abroad and you need money and you're nowhere near a trusted bank ATM, you can use this card, and no matter what the fee, it will be rebated. The first one is the Schwab Investor Checking Account. This is the account I use, and I've had it since 2015. I've been very happy with it. It's totally free. When you open an account, you get both a checking account and an investor brokerage account. You don't have to use the investor brokerage account, but if you do, Schwab's not a bad institution to start investing with. Another option is from Betterment, and this one also earns cash back at certain stores, so one to check out as well. Another one to consider is the Fidelity Cash Management Account. Like the others, rebates your ATM fees, and it actually gets a, kind of decent interest rate right now. It's over 2%, so that may change by the time you watch this video. Maybe it's higher, maybe it's lower, but one to consider if you already have a Fidelity account, or even if you don't. Fidelity is also a great institution to do your investing with. So, all right, if this has been helpful, like it if you like it, and subscribe for more. Otherwise, if you have any tips I didn't cover, please feel free to leave those in the comments below. And until next time, travel well and be well traveled.